Good evening and welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Patty Arroyo. Happy to be here at King's Restaurant in Tamuning. They've offered up the corner booth for us every week, and we're so happy and grateful to the lovely service and the fantastic food that they're providing for us tonight. Tonight, we have the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association, two of the many women that are currently in the organization and many women that have come before them. We're going to tell their story. And, of course, Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association is always in a constant state of fundraisers. So you know you're going to get hit up for some tickets or something. And I hope you'll stay with us. I know you'll stay with us. Why wouldn't you want to stay with us? GMH Volunteers Association, we have something to talk about. Come on. Good evening and welcome again to Something to Talk About. It is a lovely evening, and of course we are in the lovely King's Restaurant in Tamuning. We've got the corner block over here, and so they always do such a great job at making us feel like we're right at home, and it feels like we're right at home.
Yeah.
We've got, of course, our refreshments, and we've got a few ladies here from the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association, which always feels like a homecoming whenever I talk to you ladies. We are the Oreos.
The Oreos. I'm the cream in the middle.
You're the cream in the middle, and then we have the chocolate cookies on the outside.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you, ladies, for coming out. I appreciate that you're here.
Thank you.
No,
We're so
it's my pleasure.
And Rex and the radio show, and now your show's so great.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
I love watching it.
I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
My face is just this light whenever I hear you on the show.
Oh, see, well, look at that.
do.
Well, you know, you're already here, so you don't have to say those nice things. You're already here.
We've been wanting to tell you all that.
I really appreciate it. Thank
we
you.
hear you, and now everyone can see the face to that voice.
That's nice.
Well, yeah.
I will say that it's a mutual admiration society that we have. My history with the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers, although being a volunteer for a short time, just to be able to know that there is this group that does some incredible charitable work up at the hospital.
Amazing.
It is amazing. For how many years, Evelina, how long have you been with the...
Since I retired, and that's going on 15 years.
Wow.
January, it will be 15 years.
Good for you. Okay. Evelina Akimoto is her name, and this is June Perez. June is actually on the staff of the Guam Memorial
Yes,
Hospital.
I'm an employee.
Okay. And you're in public relations and marketing?
Yes, I do public relations and I do media relations, public relations, and I am also the hospital liaison for the ladies, the wonderful Volunteers Association, and so we help facilitate all of their efforts in helping the hospital.
And that's actually kind of a policy that the hospital, and many large hospitals, have an
endowment.
An endowment.
They are our de facto endowment.
Yeah, you've always been there. There hasn't ever really been any other organization.
We don't dare start one. Because
yeah. Well, you got to contend with these ladies if you decide to start one. That's for sure.
They are our endowment, and they've been brilliant at it.
And I got to say, you know, Evelina, for 15 years, you have seen and done it all, I'm assuming. I mean, a lot of the ladies with the Volunteers Association have been through so many administrators. They've been through the good times, the bad times, and the not so, whatever times. You've been there when it's status quo, you've been there when it's great, you've been there when things were pretty tough.
Right. And I must say this, Patty, we don't get involved with any of that at all. We have our own load of work that really, and as I said again, it's all about time. That was the theme that you had when you helped us out one charity ball, and that
was my greatest contribution. Really, was just that theme that 1 year. Other than that,
but we pretty much work on our own with June as a liaison between us and the administration.
Well, that's the important part, because the relationship in the hospital can change.
Yes,
the women. Exactly. The volunteers do what they do regardless of who the administration.
Yes,
but you've always got to have a middle person that is going to work between the two, because you don't want to get mixed up in the politics of it.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of politics at the hospital. I'm sure you've seen that too.
I've seen it. I've heard it.
You've been in it, but you're apart from it. And I think that's what the beauty of it is. You have to remain
they don't
sort
answer
of immune
to anyone but themselves.
Yeah, you have to be immune to it, because then it really does compromise what the mission is.
It does, and because you touched that part, we have this it's become a law already for the an ex officio member of the volunteers with the Board of Trustees. And we don't vote, and it's just as well that we don't vote. I'm all for that, because we're always approaching the public, the business people, the civic people for donations, and if they were to discuss any issue that involves any of that, we don't want to be a part. We don't want to participate in that at all, because
So you're not a part of the board. You don't have a representative on the board.
They do. They were just recently allowed by law to have their president. Their president is now a non-voting member of our Board of Trustees.
So that's what you mean by non-voting.
Yes.
You want to make sure that there isn't, you aren't swayed either way
Exactly.
by
Yes.
a particular
Yes.
issue.
Yes.
So
That's a very sensitive situation when you're out soliciting for donors, which is really how
day.
the hospital volunteers survive.
Yes, exactly.
Well, not you as a group, but you survive
Oh, yes.
to provide to the hospital.
And I have to say, they've always been so good to us. We approach them.
Well, you know
every
why? Because you
year.
guys are scary.
No,
No, I'm just going to let you know. Nothing intimidates me. I'm an unintimidatable person.
You're not intimidated.
I am not intimidated
No, I
by
can't
men.
imagine
But no,
Patty.
but when you have this many ladies who you respect,
Yes,
and not
they
only are
are.
you our beautiful elders
They are-
in our community,
they are
but
such-
you have yield quite a bit of power. Whether you like to believe it or not, they see the ladies in the pink coming along. They know
They are.
there is no question what you're there for.
Patty, speaking of elders, Ben and Susie Arceo, you know who they are? Well, Susie has a beautiful singing voice, right? And her husband is always with her. Those two are so together. Well, they have been going out and selling tickets. They're the highest.
They're your
Yeah,
front men.
yeah. Oh,
They're
yes,
out there.
very much
They
so.
are.
I really thank them. In spite, they're in their 80s already. They're off island right now. But even as of with her email, she's missing us, and she's there with her grandchildren. But
even
she
off
enjoys
island, they're
doing
still
it,
active.
and it really keeps them up. But they are in their 80s. They're part of us. They are our volunteers.
You know,
So-
something has to be said about the women with the sort of staying power that you have had there. Because the women who have volunteered and been there have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That
And
is-
so if you've been there for a long time, that suggests not only are you loyal to the work and you have a sense of duty to the organization, but that you honestly, truly enjoy it, because a lot of these women are are retired. They're not necessarily employed outside the home, and I'm sure they have a lot of time on their hands if they choose to have time on their hands.
Exactly.
But they choose instead to consume themselves with the work
with
of the
purpose,
volunteers.
to fill their days
Yeah.
with something meaningful.
Oh, absolutely.
And Patty, these are the proverbial ladies of leisure that could very easily just spend the day, whatever.
Eating bonbons and watching All My Children.
But instead they
I need to
come
stay
And
home.
lunching.
and they do.
See,
They-
that's
and
what
they
I
make
want to
time
do.
for
I want to
that.
be that
They,
girl
they
when
clean their houses and
No,
then
I
they
do.
run
I
to the
wanna be that.
hospital and
Yeah.
run the gift shop and sell raffles and visit our
I
patients.
want to be a
and-
retiree
Me too.
who sits and says
can't
my house
wait.
is a filthy mess.
But I'm going to go to the
Because
gift shop.
because I'm doing something that's really important. Cleaning my house is not a big priority when you got
I
things,
know.
you know,
I'm
when you're
very
really
busy with
Right.
this every day.
Yeah. But the thing
and
is
so
that you
many.
love it though, right?
Oh, I
They
do.
do,
I do
yeah.
very much. It's great. It makes it easy when we go out and solicit. And to be honest with you, I'm hesitant approaching because I don't want to be told that there's nothing, right? I always.
Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, here comes Evelina. Run, 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 run,
Fear
run.
of
I know that
rejection.
feeling. Yeah, the rejection. We're going to take a really quick break here. And then when we come back, I do want to ask about the climate of the hospital. And the fact that you have to work with no matter what the climate is, and there's got to be some kind of dedication because it changes so often. But being a liaison and working with these ladies on what it is that the hospital needs, and then we're going to also talk about the Thanksgiving raffle, which is a
Yes,
really big deal.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's a really big deal. You see these tickets? Get used to
Yes.
looking at them because maybe there might be a few of them coming your way.
These are your winning
Don't-
tickets.
Yeah, don't look surprised if they come up and say, "Do you know what this is?" You say, "Oh,
brand
yes,
new
I
car."
do," and I'm happy to help. For Cars Plus, it's got a car, right?
Cars Plus,
Yes.
car,
Okay,
lot-
turkey stuff. We got stuff.
hundreds
We're gonna,
of prizes.
and we're gonna talk about all of that because
Yes.
we're something to talk about, and that's what we do. Okay. Good job, ladies. right.
So
You're naturals.
good.
You're like starlets already. And welcome back to Something to Talk About. Our guests tonight, the Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers Association. We have June Perez, who is the liaison to the Guam Volunteers Association, Guam Memorial Hospital Volunteers. And she's also employed by the hospital
Yes.
as a public relations and sort of media communications
Yes,
lady.
I do.
And,
Yes.
and then there's Evelina Akimoto, who's been with the association for 15 years. Before that, you had a whole nother life, right? Because you retired and then, okay.
I retired from Superior Court.
Oh, really? What did you do for Superior Court?
I did like many things actually. Honestly, I worked for the Judicial Council, the Board of Law Examiners,
Okay.
a courtroom clerk, and I was working for the seven judges of the Superior Court,
Oh, wow.
for the Judicial Council, which is a policy-making body.
Right.
And in that membership, it's the Attorney General and the President of the Bar Association. And I've thoroughly enjoyed my work with them.
Oh, yeah.
So do you look at the court system now and see
No.
how many things have changed?
Oh, yes.
How many
That's
advancements
crowded.
have been made in the
Right.
I can't
system?
even park at the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yes,
it
Yeah,
is.
it's
Not
full
like
of-
the old days.
The
Yeah.
population has increased,
Yeah.
for the court calendar. I'm sure it's. I don't know
Well,
how
you
many
know, as the
pages
community
long,
grows,
but-
as does crime.
Yeah,
but,
right.
And then you need more employees. But I have to say that Superior Court building, that's some old school right there, that building, right?
Well,
It's-
it's,
I mean,
in
it's-
'91.
Lot of history.
that's a
But
new
the
buil-
original building,
The
yeah.
original is an old one.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
building. I
Yeah.
love the
Me
personality
too.
of that
Yeah,
building.
it is, right?
Right? That was
Yes.
really old Guam. There's
Yes,
something
there
something
is.
nostalgic
It
about
is,
that.
it
Yeah.
is.
But what the little known fact is, maybe you don't recognize her by her last name, or maybe you do. She's got a famous son who's a
Yes.
doctor, Dr. Vince Akimoto. He's the spawn.
Mom, this is the lady responsible.
You might hear him on the breakfast show, sort of whipping up on controversial topics.
Yes.
Do you cringe every once in a while? Because he's got very, very clear ideas about
Yes.
the Guam Memorial Hospital
Very
and how it's operates,
outspoken.
right?
I know, but I'm sure he knows what he's talking about.
Spoken like a good mother.
I cannot apologize for him.
No,
I have
no
to tell you the
apologies
truth. I am
needed.
sensitive, and I wish he would sometimes choose
Be
his
a-
words.
I know.
Well, you know, there's nothing
Moms.
greater than a son who can take care of
I am-
himself.
I am
He's a
very proud
passionate
of my-
man.
I'm very
Yes.
proud of my son. He's not only a great doctor, he's a wonderful son. He's always thoughtful of me. He calls on me in the morning. He'll be driving the kids to school, and he'll tell them, call Grandma.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yes. And then
And then the second call is to Ray Gibson on the breakfast show. So it's like you and then Ray. It's a morning ritual. Yeah.
I am very proud of my son, and I
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
another son, and I'm just.
I
was
know. I'm
just
so
as proud of
sorry.
him.
Yeah.
Right.
But
He was
they're both-
43 3 years ago. I lost him, and then I have one daughter.
Right. But Vince is probably the most well known, of
Yes.
course.
All
Yes.
beautiful children.
Is she also your private doctor, or you can't do that?
He could be just for emergency in between when I can't get
You
my.
call him up and say, "Son, I have
did,
an earache," or
I
no?
know I did. One time I had a stomach ache really, and I don't run to the doctor for any little thing.
Well, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
If I put my son through school, I would make sure my investment was going to work for me at 2 o'clock. In fact, if my son was a doctor, I would call him all the time,
time.
to pay that back. You know.
But anyway, I couldn't take it any longer, so I called him and says, "Mom, just come on up." So I went, and when I came up to that triage
He didn't
room,
make a house call.
no, he
He
didn't. He could
did.
have, but
Okay.
he
All
was running a clinic, and so I
Sure.
went up there. Sure enough, he got me in this nice place. You know, there's like four recliners with an IV.
IV drip.
And he, do you call that a triage room? I guess so. Anyway, I sat there and. In no time at all, my stomach ache really disappeared, honestly. And I said, "Did you put a painkiller on that?" And they said, "No." But I don't know what they put. I didn't even ask anymore. But I was there for 5 hours until I finished that IV. But my son took care of me like that.
Oh,
Wow,
So I'm
I
grateful.
know.
that's really
Very
nice.
lucky. Yeah.
Well, he's a good guy.
He is.
He's a good guy. He's a very well. He's a
very-
good. He is a good.
Very passionate,
he loves
outspoken
everyone, He
doctor.
loves our people. His expectations of Guam is because the way he's speaking is because he just expects so much
Sure.
for our island and
Yeah.
for our people. And I
So Vince, Your mother's saying boy. Just watch your mouth too when you're very passionate.
Respeto, fan.
He is very respectful. I do
Yes.
have to say that.
Yeah.
And so now, June, I asked
I don't have a doctor son.
you have a wonderful son though. You do have a wonderful son and a new
And
daughter-in-law.
you know, they deliberately chose not to be doctors because they didn't
because
want me to
they be around you.
micromanage.
Oh, see, there's nothing.
So he went to engineering school.
We don't call that micromanaging in motherhood. We call that concern.
Concern,
Yeah.
right? So
That's
the
the-
mom, I
that's
chose
the
something
word.
you knew nothing about.
Well, here's what you do know. You do know the needs of the hospital.
Yes.
And as a liaison between you and the Volunteers
We make
Association,
it very clear. That
right? You're able though to listen to sit in and listen to the needs of the hospital, and communicate to them. Although it's pretty easy to understand what the needs of the hospital
Oh,
are.
they're always
right?
there.
So,
We have a system. Every year, the charity ball is dedicated to a certain set of priorities, and that comes through a wish list. The hospital provides an itemized list of equipment and supplies and whatever is urgently needed, and that charity ball then will be dedicated to those items there. But throughout the year, the ladies keep a revolving fund for other urgently needed items, such as the vans. The latest things that the volunteers have picked up were 2 transport vehicles that we use to get our patients out to the clinics or to SNU and back. That costs hundreds of dollars to use a private transport.
firm, yeah.
So we had to get our own, and the ladies stepped up to that and provided us this year with transport vans. They bought ventilators, millions of dollars, Patty, in equipment
here's
and
the spreadsheet.
supplies.
Oh my!
Just yes,
Okay, I'm gonna
year
need
after
glasses
year.
for this one because it's so voluminous that
They just
I'm
go
just so
on
proud
and
of
on
your
and
hard
on.
work
Most
and yeah.
They have
Yeah.
done
And-
so
and
So
much.
this year alone, you've bought televisions for medical telemetry
Yes.
and all of the associated accoutrements, and respirators. That's a big deal. The
a
patient
long
Yes.
list.
That's a long. It sure
Yes.
is a long list. Patient beds and
Beds, dozens of beds.
That's so cute. A pediatric stethoscope for $73. You know, every bit counts. Is what I say.
in pink.
But really, a pediatric stethoscope. It's not to say that the hospital couldn't afford a pediatric stethoscope, but there's something special, obviously,
there
about
was
it.
that was a special stethoscope.
Okay.
They had to get
And
that.
that's not readily available, and it takes too long for procurement.
Right, they just wanted to get one right away, so they got them a
Yeah, and it
stethoscope.
won't be an
These
only
ones.
item. It,
Right.
it could be several other items combined with that $73.
Well,
So
it's a large chunk of money for sure.
Yeah.
Just look at the year, the Great Ladies year, and on to 2013, 2012.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and the total amount.
134 so far for 2014. $226,000. This is in just equipment and supplies for the
Very
hospital.
recently, yeah,
And then
in the
in
last few years.
2012, and this was a longer list of $250,000.
So
And
it
the
just-
list seems to be getting smaller as the hospital starts to progress.
Yes.
Its needs, clearly their needs are never ending. But
Never ending.
nonetheless,
It's
I wanted to get to this
a
before
lot.
we have to
Yes.
leave you for the evening.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this is another wonderful way.
Another
that
one
the
of their
hospital
annual
raises money.
projects
This
is-
is a big deal because this is fun.
Yes,
was
this
fun.
is
Go
one of
ahead.
their traditional. This is one of their traditional activities. Every year, the ladies do a Thanksgiving raffle, and this is the first year that we've included a big ticket grand prize, a brand new car, thanks to Joey and Joyce
Woohoo! Do you know what
Crisostomo.
kind of car?
Cars, Hyundai Accent.
Okay.
2014,
2014, fully loaded, thanks to Cars Plus and the Crisostomo family. We have a grand prize of the car. We have a round trip to Manila or Japan, courtesy of Bank of Guam and Delta. And of course, Dr. Shea has his third prize of the iPad Mini.
We
And
just have 70
prizes
good prizes plus 50
plus
Thanksgiving
50
raffle.
baskets.
Yeah, Thanksgiving
50
basket. That's the
Dinner-
cool thing.
dinner
The
baskets.
Thanksgiving basket is the cool thing.
Yeah.
they either get a turkey or a ham
Right.
certificate with all the fixings.
$25 gift certificate
Yes.
for either one of those.
Okay.
So it's really a wonderful, generous, and the generosity of the donors. We're always so grateful.
So what they need to do is they need to find you.
Yes,
It's
come call
$20
us.
per booklet,
Per
right?
booklet.
Okay, and
And
there's-
5 tickets in each booklet,
Okay.
so they'll have 5 entries to the wonderful, wonderful prizes.
Have you been selling these pretty
Yes.
good?
Yes, we have been,
yes.
but we still have
We
quite
ha-
a
we
bit.
still have-
That's
we
why
still
we
have
want to
several books.
appeal
Yes.
to all of you, including you guys.
She's talking to you guys behind the camera.
And everybody in Kings.
How did you know it was payday the other day? God.
But yes, and the drawing is November 14th, Patty, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
They don't have to be present to win.
At the
GMH
GMH,
conference room.
GMH, yeah.
cafeteria.
Don't have
That's
to be
a,
present
it's
to
a
win.
fun raffle because there's a lot of great prizes,
lot of
Yes,
great
and it's
prizes.
really very affordable.
Yes.
And you know exactly where the money goes because every year they show you where the money goes.
Yeah.
If you have ever been a consumer of the Guam Memorial Hospital, then you
And
know where the
we
money
have the
goes.
list in front of
Yeah.
you, and yes.
And then, in addition to that, the ongoing resources are the GMH gift shop,
The gift
and
shop.
the gift
that
card.
is
which
that is their bread and butter.
Yeah.
That is their
Yeah.
every day, every day of
and
the
these
year.
are all separate. Now,
activities.
the finances are separate when it comes to these things. You have expenditures. I mean, you have fundraising and for operations, or you have operations, which is funded by the gift cart and by the gift shop.
No,
gi- the-
Patty, all the
all-
money that all the revenues of the volunteers strictly goes to the hospital. The only money that we would have that we raise our own, like bake sale and rummage sale, is for our membership.
for their membership activities.
So that operating expense of a
yeah,
membership.
they, they raise their
the only
own.
part. But
Not- yeah.
we don't spend any money for anyone, and it's a beautiful spirit with all the volunteers. They
Yeah.
never complain about it, you know.
Yeah.
They just come in there and they see all this work that
Well,
we're
because
doing.
they're in the Cool Girls Club.
Yeah, they are.
That's
they
the
are
coolest
amazing.
club on
It
Guam.
is.
They are.
Now, are there any
Wonderful.
boys in the club?
Yes,
Do you have boys?
we have
There's
Mr.
two.
Arceo.
Mr. Arceo is one.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And
he's
then
a-
and Fran-
there's
and
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Fajardo, but Jimmy has
Jimmy.
been taking care of his father, so
Okay.
I haven't seen
Well,
much
that's
of
nice.
him.
So, you're
So we
there.
need
So-
we need men to sign up. Please come by.
Come on.
Yeah.
Look at this. Would
Yeah,
you
yes.
not want to be around this all day?
Yes. Oh,
And you get to
oh
wear the
my
pink
gosh.
jacket. How's that?
Yeah.
And the vest.
They are awesome ladies.
Well, I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity to tell your story because you hear about the volunteers and you have a lot of events, but we don't always get the stories, and so I appreciate that. The tickets are due on November 3rd, but the drawing is when?
The November 14th.
Okay.
November 14th. They can buy all the way to the 14th.
Okay, and then you guys will also drop them off, right?
Yes,
Yes.
just
Wherever
call,
you go.
wherever you are.
Tell-
We'll
what
bring
is
the
it?
tickets. We'll bring tickets. We'll deliver.
She'll bring tickets. What's
Yes.
the phone number?
Mine will be 483-8852, and
Okay.
Mine
Evelina
would be
is
969-2053, or come to the gift shop.
Or
at
come to the
GMA.
gift shop.
Drop
We'll-
by there and pick up your tickets, please.
Yeah, please. All right. I appreciate it, ladies.
Yes,
Again, my
thank
Oreos,
you.
sisters. Well done. Well done. That's it. That is it for this evening. Thank you again for joining us on Something to Talk About. And again, come on down to King's Restaurant, especially when we're here on Wednesday. Appreciate your time. Good night. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
You got to eat this fruit. This is the best. Really? Do you know half the people we have on here don't know what to call it?